I'm not even gonna lie to you. This kind of hurts my feelings, but it's what we've got to do. We're gonna pull this engine and transmission out of the donor box. So what we're gonna do is pull everything out, and we're just gonna kind of set it over here in the floor. We're gonna do some cleaning, some painting, and possibly an upgrade or two. We'll just have to see. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and start getting everything ready. And obviously first you want to go ahead and disconnect the battery cable on this. Heads up, this will not be a tutorial on how to pull an engine, transmission, or any of that out of the car. There'll be a lot of time lapses, so don't expect a lot. And if I run into an issue that I think I need to share with you guys, if you've never done it before, then I'll cover it. Otherwise, let's just get to it. I figured I'd come out, let you guys know I'm having to take a break right now. So, you know, hopefully we'll be able to get back to this here pretty soon. So far, everything's going really, really good. The hardest thing was getting the damn fuel lines off. If you guys have dealt with those, sometimes they come off good, sometimes they don't. I do want to touch on one little thing, though, for you guys, give you a little bit of inspiration on this. If you've never pulled an engine before and you're scared to, but let's say, you know, you want to, but you just don't think that you can, there's really nothing to it, guys. The biggest thing is just getting everything disconnected. So really all you have to do is disconnect your headers, take your upper intake off, you know, disconnect all that stuff, and you can leave all of your brackets and all this stuff on. It really doesn't take long. It'll take you about an hour to get to this point or so, something like that. And then from here you just have 2 motor mounts and whatever's under the car. So like unbolt your exhaust under the car, drive shaft, cross member, stuff like that, and then you're basically ready to pull the engine. You know, there's more stuff to it than that, but it's really not that hard. I know some of you don't have garages and you're having to work outside. Look, guys, I used to do this in the dirt. Back in the day, whenever I was younger, I didn't have a garage. I didn't have a paved driveway. I literally did everything in the dirt. So, I mean, I'm not saying that that's the best way to do it. The whole point is, you can do it. So you can get out here and you can do this type of stuff. Sometimes you just need to get your engine out. I would hate for you to have to go pay somebody to pull an engine, and in reality, especially if you got like a T5 or something, guys, there's nothing to it. There's really not. Get you a friend over, grab you a couple beers and some pizza, whatever it takes, take your time on it, and you'll have that engine out in a few hours. Also, one other thing, check this out, guys. What is that? Do we put a T5 in the donor box? Hell no. You guys know what that is. That's the new setup that I was telling you guys about. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a sneak peek of it now. I don't have the plate that goes on it right now, so I'll have to order that. I thought I had an extra one, but I looked around for it. Anyway, as you can see, guys, this thing looks really good. Tell you what, let's go over here and I'll show you kind of how it works. I mean, it's pretty simple. I posted something on Instagram about it, and I had a question, you know, where's the button at? Well, as you can see right here is your button. So you just press that, and just to show you guys how it works. Now all this obviously will be, you know, held down tight, so I really hate to show it to you like this in this condition, but everything should hold down tight, and all you'll do is just hit your button and shift. That's it. Pretty cool. Anyway, there is one little thing that you have to do. The little rubber grommet that goes around the inside of your shifter boot, I had to take that out. I just cut it out. That way it would slide up over the neck of this, because the neck of this ball right here goes way down here. So you want this to slide up, cover everything. I think it looks killer. I mean, you can imagine in a nice clean car, you know, with the face plate on it and all that, this is going to look good, guys. I like it. Let me lift this up. See, there's all of your AOD stuff right there. Essentially, this just covers it all up. You know, you lose the ability to see what gear you're in, but I mean, come on, you know, you can just kind of fill that out. You can learn that. I'll put a link down below. I bought the shift knob from UPR, and the shifter boot just come from LMR. Hopefully, I'll be back out here in a few minutes, and I'll kick this time lapse back off for you guys. And maybe tonight we'll be pulling this engine out. All right, we'll see you in a few. Well, we've got the engine and transmission basically out. I'm just letting it drain right now. get all this transmission fluid out of it. I've just made a mess, to be honest with you. I just got in a hurry and said to hell with it. So, you know, we can clean all this up later. Basically now all we have to do is slide the car back and then kind of pick up on the tail shaft. What we're going to do now is go ahead. I got a bunch of stuff to do, so I probably won't even do a time lapse. I'll get the Calypso moved, then I'll get this car down and try to roll everything out, and we should be good to go, guys. I'll catch back up with you in a few. She is out, she's on the ground, so I'm happy. This is where we need to be right now. We'll go ahead, kind of clean everything up here in the next day or so, and we will start getting ready to paint. So all I'm going to do now is go ahead and roll this car out and get the Calypso back in here, just so we don't get anything messed up with it. I don't want it sitting outside. We got some bad weather coming, but that's going to be it for now. We still have a lot of stuff under the hood of this car to take off and underneath the car. So this was the major thing that we needed to get out, no doubt, but at the same time we still got a lot more work to do. All right, guys, I'll catch back up with you tomorrow and we'll start cleaning everything up. And here we are the next day. So I went by Harbor Freight, picked up a few things, picked up this little roller right here for this little dolly furniture. And what I'm going to do is just kind of set it under the oil pan. It's not going to have like a ton of weight on it, but I want to be able to roll this thing out, and if something were to happen and it fall off, I want it to, you know, obviously not fall from 4 or 5 feet. So picked up a couple plugs to put in the transmission to block everything off so that we don't get water everywhere. We're going to get this thing out. I'm going to tape up all the holes up top, and we're obviously not going to put a lot of water up here around this area just yet. We don't want to soak everything, but we need to get some of this dirt knocked off before we start kind of taking pieces and parts off of it and painting everything up. So I'm going to go ahead, do all this, and I'll catch back up with you when we roll this thing out. All right, guys, everything has been taped up or either plugged off as good as I can get it. The speedometer over there, everything's been plugged with either rubber plugs, tape, or whatever I can use. So we're going to try to stay away from the problem areas. We don't want to soak this thing, obviously, with water too much. But we do have to get some of this grease off. So that's what we're going to do now. Go ahead, blow some of this extra crap off, and then we'll take our time inside the garage and really kind of clean everything and start pulling stuff apart. But for now, let's just go ahead and blow some grease off. Oh, and by the way, this is going to be very messy. I thought about getting a tarp, but honestly, I don't think it would help much. This shit's going to go everywhere. So it is what it is. Best thing to do in this situation is go ahead and like wash your concrete off immediately before somebody drives over it. See, the crazy thing about this is no matter how much you work, no matter how much time you spend, and what chemicals you use, you're never going to be able to get it all off. So here we are. Yeah, it looks better. It's definitely going to look better once it dries up, and I kind of, you know, just fine tune everything, get it all cleaned up. And you got stuff on the back of this transmission, it's just not coming off. I mean, unless you really get a serious wire brush back there, it's not going to come off. The main reason why I'm cleaning all this back here is I don't want to get my hands freaking filthy installing this motor. So what I'm going to do now is go get some mag and wheel cleaner, and that'll really kind of clean everything up. We're going to use a combination of wire brushes and some Scotch-Brite to just kind of bring all of this back to life. And you know, eventually we'll get a new alternator. I just realized that water pump's new, so we'll probably leave it for now. And the only thing I think we're going to change is maybe the oil pan gasket and oil pump on this thing, and I think we're going to slap it back in. Everything looks really good. The engine's been into at some point. At least it's had a new timing chain cover gasket and all that, so hopefully this thing is good to go. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to turn the camera around. I am just absolutely filthy. I'm going to go inside, change, and go get some of this cleaner. We'll come back and we'll start just kind of massaging on this thing a little bit. See you in a few. All right, guys, I think last time you saw me, I was pressure washing this engine. So myself and Andrew got out here, pressure washed on this thing forever and ever and ever, and we got it pretty clean. So I'm happy with this. Anyway, this is where we are. We have the black stamped steel valve covers. I went ahead and just sprayed them with some satin black. I took the sander, went over them real quick, and they'll be fine. Most of that'll be covered up anyway. But yeah, they look okay. I have no issues with that whatsoever. And we're going to run these because we are going to go for that Cobra look. So eventually we'll have a Cobra upper intake on this. And we just kind of want it to look the part. That's all. I like the way they look. So that's why I'm choosing to go that route. So we will be putting the GT40 lower intake on. And eventually we'll have a Cobra intake. But for right now, we're just going to run this. Anyway, I've cleaned, I've wiped, I've sprayed a couple brackets here and there black. I know you guys really can't see in this garage because it's kind of dark, but you know, I've cleaned everything as good as I can to give it that kind of natural, just well taken care of look. Now the lower intake has to come off, and that's going to be cleaned. This is the engine. It looks really good, guys. I'm impressed. You know, all this stuff will be painted once I take it off, so don't pay any attention to the lower intake and that valve cover. Just, you know, all this up here. Oh, this thing had a new starter on it too, by the way. Look at that. So that's cool. Had a bunch of new parts on it. Anyway, we're going to go ahead. Andrew is on his way over, and we're going to attempt to pull the fenders off the car and the whole front clip. So we're going to pull everything off from right here all the way back, bumper and all. Because this is one of these Harbor Freight lifts, and it's really short. So this part right here rides up against the front bumper. So I was just wearing the front bumper of the donor car out, getting the engine out. We obviously cannot even touch the bumper on this, so I can get a bigger lift. My buddy Joe Nate has a larger lift that we can use, but rather than getting that, I think I'd rather just take the fenders and all that off anyway, and the bumper. That way we just have more room here. We should have the motor in tonight. All I'll do is drop the engine in, put the motor mounts on, and put the cross member in, and that's going to be that for right now. We're not going to like try to get it running, you know, today or tomorrow or anything like that. I probably won't get the thing running until next weekend, but that's the plan anyway. I don't know that it's going to work out, but that is the plan. Guys, can we just take a second? Look at that. Look at the way the light catches that bumper. So we are going to put a new oil pump, and we are going to put a new oil pan gasket on this thing, and new valve cover gaskets, new intake gaskets, all that. So we should be pretty good. And also, I don't know why I'm not mentioning this before. So we painted the door frames Calypso. We only did that to give us, like, use the paint as like a filler. So all this will be sanded down and painted black like it's supposed to be. You guys know I'm not gonna leave this Calypso. You know me. You know me good enough to know by now. That's not gonna stay Calypso. Now we have material up here that we can sand off and really kind of block this thing out smooth, because I want these rails to look good also. No worries, guys. You know I'm gonna do this thing right. All right. Let me go ahead and get this car out, and we'll wait on Andrew to get here, and we'll pick back up. All right, guys, so I forgot to shoot an outro for that video. Just got busy with everything, so that's going to be the end of this video. That's right, guys. We got the engine in. She's looking good so far. Stay tuned for part 2. And as always, thanks for watching.